kind of one at a time, took the band apart there, right? Um, I'm not using my usual format here today, am I? I don't have my backing track all put together and then I make a separate intro, with the close up and all that. This is a live deal. This track that I just played over is borrowed from a video a couple videos back. That's the part 2 of the 3-component series. And you can see it there. It's within the last, 2 or 3 videos in order, going back from this one. And it's that D, C, G, back to D progression. And we talk in the intro there, in that other one, about how many songs have that progression and stuff, whatever. So, by request, today we're just going to have like kind of a fun, an extra lick little video here. So a lot of people wanted to just kind of like, hey, we don't really do a note for note learning a solo thing on this channel. It's more like, if you're used to Tao of Twang, I show you like a system of chords and scales and things that you can put together. And then we kind of, you rely on your own musical choices pretty much. That's what we're always doing on this channel. But, people are telling me, hey, we don't have to, have every note of it note for note, but like could go through and slow some of it down sometimes, some of the stuff that's in the intros or whatever. So that's what we're going to do today. And real quick, the other thing that happened with that video, part 2 of the 3-component thing, was the great questions and discussion that arose out of this thing about this business of me saying that we were in D. Well, I'm playing like a D major pentatonic stuff there. It kind of looks like a B minor pentatonic, what I was doing in part of that just a minute ago, right? But it's really in that framework of D major. But the folks that asked those questions are right. If you look down in the comments of that video, when you do the basic analysis of this chord progression, it's a 5, 4, 1, back to the 5, in G. I'm not going to get into, the depths of all of that right now. But the long and the short of it is that in a regular major key, in a family of chords in a major key, that G is really the only one where all those major chords fit into that basic theory. I don't want to confuse folks with this, but I did want to address it for those of you that brought it up, and you're exactly right. Let me see if I can. I think it's a great example of trying different things and seeing what really works, because some of those folks also said, if I try to play G scale stuff in it, it doesn't sound that good, or it doesn't feel that good. But this D stuff feels great. I think what's going on is this. The notes that are in G major are fine. It's where you start and stop in that continuum of notes. This is a good time to mention this. Think of your scale playing as something that's a continuum. It's not just from here to here necessarily. It's going on. It's expanding out from both sides of that, right? So if I'm playing, that's the G major scale. Okay. If I do that starting on a different note in that same sequence, same notes, but starting on a different tone. Okay. So that's D, that's called D Mixolydian. I'm playing the notes that are in G, but starting and ending on D. But again, take that little segment, wherever you've got that you're working with, and expand it out, the tails of it on both sides, right? So you've got this continuum of notes, but it does matter what we emphasize, the places that we choose to start and stop a lot. Here's what I mean. We turn these chords on, and I play a G scale. It's not bad. There's places where it really works, where, here's the thing. What if I play those same notes, but start on D and play same sequence, different starting point? Now, I did a lot of extra little style stuff in there, but I just want you to hear without being tedious, right? If I just play those boxy scales, kind of defeats the purpose of what you just witnessed, right? Doesn't mean that you have to play all fast a bunch of notes like I just did, but when you connect those things, the flow of it is what feels good is certain segments of that continuum. That's called modes. Now, before we go down the mode rabbit hole and get lost for the next 6 months or whatever, you'll get to all that. Let's get back to this D thing. I hope that answer some of the questions about the G versus D thing that were in the comments of that previous video. And also just maybe opens up a new way of looking at this whole thing about, it's not that there's just one key that goes with each scale and so forth. It's not a 1-to-1 ratio thing like that. It's what we do within those continuums that really creates the harmonic and melodic nature of the jam or the song. Okay? We're going to unpack what I just said over the next year. Okay? It's not something you got to master right this second. Let's have some fun. I'm just going to kind of talk through these licks and then kind of slow them down and just give you more of a demonstration this time. Then you can go back and use that backing track. I can put it at the end of this one too. And really rehearse this stuff and have some fun with it. For this video, I'm just using the rhythm guitar for the loop, but on your practice loop, I'll have the drums and the bass and everything in there. So here's what's basically going on. This box right here, you can look at it as D major pentatonic. I don't mean to be going too fast, but there's diagrams for these in the description section. Now, especially these four. You can just just hang out there all day and never run out of cool stuff to do. So bend in that way. Don't be afraid to end your phrasings on a bend. Hold some things longer and do some other repetition that's faster. So let's turn that off for a second and let me kind of slow this down. So these 4 notes within this framework. Okay, you can go down to there too. That's that D major pentatonic. That's that slide right there. I'll put it up right here actually. If you need to park it on there for a second and just get that under your fingers really good. These 2 center strings, that is the zone right there, man. Sometimes in those intros and when you see people play and they're kind of blowing through all this stuff, you're trying to visualize it rather than really hear it, and that's kind of the struggle, right? It's you need to see it and hear it slowed down. Don't worry about doing exactly note for note the order of notes that I'm playing right now. If you like the sound of it and you really like it and you really want to do it like that, that's your choice. But the reason I say that is what's going to happen is you're just going to wear yourself out. Right? Just backing over the same little thing, 12 times. It's not that important. What's important is that you get into this framework and start exploring. Now that's one thing I would do is just go start. And whether you have an even or an odd number of notes, find ways of counting and feeling it that just feel groovy to you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Practice that. Do it along with me if you can. If you're in a situation where you can do that right now. Pick them or hammer some of them. Now if I put that in here up to speed a little bit more, kind of a cool, simple approach, but a kind of a cool sound. Then take some rests in there. Gets you going with that sound, right? That kind of southern feel. So that's one thing you can do. Repetition mixed in with rests, spaces where you're not playing anything, phrasing, and if you watched that video right before this one on the page, it really gets into this kind of conversational speaking analogy, but through your guitar, right? Let me just go back to that little box and I'll add a couple more embellishments to it. Repeat your bends. Okay, so, well, or just those 3. Get into that 3 feel. Triple, triple, here's another good tip or idea. If something works, if a rhythmic thing is working, try to move it up or down and use different notes but the same feel, like this. Sorry. Now, I like a lot to, instead of going down here to get to that root note, I like to go, so a lot of times you'll see me go. Right? I just like that feel and sound of sliding down to that, and maybe I just don't, like a lot of players, maybe I don't use my pinky as well as some of my other fingers or something, I don't know. But if you see me do that, it's not like I'm playing a different scale right there. So just taking that note, moving it down here. It just kind of gives you more of a launch for your next move or something like this. Those notes are the same as this box, except slightly out of tune. Sorry. And just up an octave. There's that continuum idea again, right? I'm doing this down here, but also so you really want to explore all that stuff. When you get something that you like going in one octave or one range, start moving that thing around. Even if it's not the same notes, kind of take that rhythmic idea and the timing of it and play some different notes. And before you know it, you are going to be just tearing down walls with your playing. Another place to bend is right here. So we've been working on this. You want to practice bending that one too. And what you're doing there is bending it essentially to be like that note. And if it doesn't sound perfect, don't worry about it. Check it out. Okay. I'm going to stop there because I feel like there's more there than you might think. The next step for you is to get that stuff under your fingers, those boxes and those bins and stuff, and then just challenge yourself. How many different things can I do right here? Slide, hammer, pull off. Don't worry about, this isn't, on this channel you don't have a piece of tab that you have to like, you know, labor over all night to make sure that you're doing every little pull off and don't worry about all that stuff. You're going to come up with something that's stylistically your own, and that's going to be way more fun and interesting than, you know, having copied something that I was doing or whatever. Yeah. If you have questions or comments, let me know how this goes. I'm going to probably start doing this as like, have like one main weekly lesson where really, you know, kind of discuss a whole topic thoroughly, and kind of like what a lot of Dao Twang videos are already like. And then drop these in there where we just have some fun and learn some licks. Thank you so much. It is my honor and privilege to be with you on your musical journey, and I will see you next time.